You think intimacy is a door. You think you are outside of it. And then one night you are inside of it, and everything after that is just details. That belief is going to cost you her. With a Latina, intimacy is not a door. It is 12 of them. They open in an order you did not choose, and the one you are thinking about right now, the one you are calling spicy, is not the last one. It is not even close to the last one. It sits somewhere in the middle. It means far less than you have been told, and every door after it is the one that actually decides your life. I am Alma. I am Colombian. By the end of this, you will know exactly which door you are standing at, what it costs to open, and what she is deciding about you while you stand there. Before we continue, please subscribe to my channel so you do not miss any future videos. It starts before you are ever alone with her. It starts with everyone else. She will not meet you by herself. You ask her to dinner, and she says yes. And then she arrives with 2 friends and a cousin, and the cousin is not smiling. You read this as rejection, or you read it as a chaperone situation, some old world thing that has nothing to do with the 28-year-old woman in front of you. Or you go dark. You decide she brought her friends because you are a foreigner, and a foreigner means a free table, and you have been played. All 3 readings are wrong, and the third one is wrong in a way she can smell on you from across the table. The private first date is a Western luxury. It rests on the assumption that a stranger is probably safe, and that assumption has never once existed here. What exists here instead is militia indigena, a street-level readiness to assume that every offer has a motive underneath it. It is not cynicism. It is infrastructure. It is how girls in this country are raised to survive, and her friends are the instrument of it. And you should understand your own category. A foreign man is not a neutral quantity in Medellin. He is a type with a history, and the panel already knows the history. So the rooftop in El Poblado, 4 hours. The drinks, the appetizers, nobody finished. You paid for 5 people and went home alone and lay in bed doing arithmetic. You were not robbed. You were interviewed by a committee, and the committee voted in the taxi on the way home, in Spanish, in about 90 seconds. She has already been told the verdict. You will find out on Thursday. Understand that this varies. In Bogotá, she may come alone, because Arola runs a colder and more European protocol and considers the whole cousin thing embarrassing. In Medellin, the cousin comes. Pay for the table without a single word of commentary, and talk to the friends more than you talk to her. Do not try to peel her away from them. Peeling is what the other kind of man does, and they have met the other kind of man. You are not on a date. You are on a job interview, and she is not the hiring manager. Her cousin is. Then comes the part that will make you feel like a fool, because it is designed to be survived, not enjoyed. You pursue, she receives. The effort runs lopsided, and it stays lopsided about 3 weeks longer than any American man can tolerate. You read it as a game, then you read it as being used. Then you go to a forum and a stranger tells you to withdraw attention, to make her chase, to go cold, and you do it, and it works exactly the way it works. She reads it as a man showing you who he is early, and she is gone, and she is not sad about it. There is a role here, pretendiente, the suitor. It is a position you occupy publicly for a stretch of time, and there is nothing humiliating in it, because everyone can see you occupying it, and everyone knows the rules. She is not measuring your intensity. Any man alive can be intense for 2 weeks. She is measuring duration, because she has watched intensity arrive and evaporate her entire life, in her house, in her sister's house, on her street. The question is not how hot you burn. It is whether you are still there in March. The good morning message goes out every day. She answers at 3 in the afternoon with 4 words. Wednesday, she answers nothing at all. Then Saturday, she walks in dressed like the night has weight, gives you 6 hours of undivided attention, laughs at things that are not funny, and you cannot reconcile her with the woman from Wednesday. They are the same woman. One of them is on duty and one of them is not. Now the part nobody says out loud. There is a line. If you have been the pretendiente for 5 months and nothing has moved, not the group, not the mother, not the question, you are not being courted. You are being kept warm. Give yourself a private deadline and never tell her what it is. Keep your effort steady and unglamorous. Do not escalate to prove yourself, and do not withdraw to punish her. She is not testing how much you want her. She is testing how long you can want her while getting nothing back. And then there is the temperature, which is where almost every one of you goes wrong. The touching, the closeness, the kiss on the cheek that lands a little too near, the hand on your forearm while she tells a story. The dancing. You read all of it as escalation. Every American man does, without exception. Because where you come from, that behavior is a message, and the message has one meaning. You spend the whole night decoding a signal that was never addressed to you. The warmth is the room temperature. It is not correspondence. She touches her uncle like that. In Cali, dancing is literacy, not seduction. She learned to move at 8 years old at a family party, and dancing with you means approximately what a firm handshake means to you. In Barranquilla, the proximity is louder still and means even less. And here is the part your forearms got backwards, completely, with total confidence. The physical warmth here is front-loaded, and the actual intimacy behind it often moves slower than what you left behind in America. A woman who is affectionate in public can be nowhere near you in private for months, and she does not experience that as a contradiction. You are the only one who thinks it is one. So the place in Cali, the music too loud to talk, her hand resting on the back of your neck for an entire song. You spend the taxi ride certain. She kisses your cheek at the door, says goodnight, and closes it. And you stand on the sidewalk rewriting the last 4 hours, trying to find the moment it turned. Nothing turned. You were reading a language you do not speak, in a room where everyone is fluent. Stop treating warmth as data about you. Read consistency instead. Read what she does on a Tuesday afternoon when nobody is watching and there is nothing to gain. The heat is the weather. It is not a message. Everyone is standing in the same weather. What actually counts is smaller than the weather and quieter, and you are probably already ignoring it. The contact goes constant. Voice notes, 4 minutes long, about nothing. And in return, she notices things about you that you did not know were visible. You read the volume as clinginess, because your ex-wife texted you 3 times a day and this woman has sent 11 audios about a coworker you will never meet. Or you go the other direction and decide the way to keep pace is to spend the restaurant, the weekend, the gift with the bag it came in. Detalles. Small daily attentions that count as love. Here is what your grand gesture actually communicates. It communicates a transaction, and from a foreign man specifically, it communicates the transaction. The expensive weekend is the native language of the men who come here to buy women, and when you speak it fluently in month 2, you have categorized yourself, and she will be polite about it, and something behind her eyes will close. A détaillé is different. A détaillé is proof you were paying attention when there was nothing at stake and no audience and no reward. That is the thing that cannot be faked and cannot be purchased, and she knows it. You fly her to Cartagena. It lands strangely flat. She is grateful. She is gracious. She thanks you properly. 2 weeks later, you order her food without cilantro because you noticed once, months ago, that she pushed it to the side of the plate and said nothing. And the look you get across that table is not the look you got in Cartagena. Send audio, not text. Spend attention instead of money. If you are going to be expensive much later, and be observant now. The trip proved you have money. The cilantro proved you were listening. Only one of those is rare here. Then, far earlier than you are ready for, there is a Sunday. You meet the mother. Week 6, maybe week 4. You have not even had the conversation about what you are yet, and you are being handed a plate. You panic, quietly. In your country, meeting the parents is the final boss. It happens at month 10, and it means something is about to be decided. So you conclude you have been escalated without consent, or trapped, or that she is moving fast because she wants something. Familia is not a relationship category here. It is the operating system. Everything runs on top of it. The mother is not the final boss. She is the co-evaluator, brought in early precisely because this decision was never going to be made alone. And understand what that woman is to her. In an enormous number of these houses, the mother was the only stable adult for 20 straight years. She held it together when a man did not. She has veto power that no American girlfriend's mother has ever held in her hands, and she has never once been afraid to use it. Sunday, sancocho. The mother asks what you do, whether you were married before, whether you have children. And then she asks how old you are. When you say the number, watch her face. Not her mouth. Her mouth will be kind. Her face. Whatever happens in that 1 second is the entire interview, and everything after it is dessert. Go. Eat everything on the plate, including the part you cannot identify. Answer plainly, because the small lie you tell at that table costs you the whole family in year 3. Bring something small for the mother, small, not expensive. You think you are meeting her mother. You are meeting the person who will decide this before she does. And then there is a question, and if you do not ask it, nothing you have done so far counts. Exclusivity here is not arrived at. It is declared, out loud, by somebody asking. Where you come from, it happens by drift. You stop seeing other people, months pass. One day the word girlfriend appears in a sentence, and nobody remembers deciding. So you take the absence of a conversation as evidence that everything is fine. Here there is a question, with a real answer, and a before and an after, novios. Until it is asked, she is not your girlfriend regardless of what the two of you have been doing. And here is the part that will hurt. She assumes you know that. She assumes you are avoiding it. The ambiguity you are experiencing as ease, she is experiencing as a man keeping his options open in front of her face. And she will not ask you, because in this structure, asking is your job, and a woman who has to ask has already been given her answer. Month 4. Everything is good. You have told your brother about her. She is standing in the bathroom of a restaurant in the Roma, with her hands on the sink, because her friend just asked her, casually, over lunch, "And what are you two?" And she had no sentence. Not a sad sentence. No sentence at all. She comes back to the table and smiles and tells you nothing, because asking you would cost her the only answer she wants. This holds even where you least expect it. In Mexico City, with a woman who runs her career on a New York timeline and would find half of this video old-fashioned, the question still gets asked out loud. It is not about tradition. It is about whether a man will say a thing when saying it costs him something. Ask it. Use the actual word. Do it earlier than is comfortable, because comfortable is a month too late. In your country, the relationship begins when nobody objects. In hers, it begins when somebody says it out loud. Tell me honestly, how many of these have you already done without realizing it? Leave it in the comments. I read all of them. Because from here, it stops being about courtship and starts being about what is underneath her. Jealousy arrives, and it does not arrive as a problem. It arrives as evidence. You have 15 years of American therapy language in your head, so you know what to do. You explain, you reason, you use the word healthy, you say some version of trust is the foundation, and you say it in the calm voice, and the calm voice makes it worse. Celos. Jealousy understood as proof of love rather than as a defect. Inside this structure, the man who feels no jealousy is not secure. He is uninterested, and everyone at the table can see it, including her mother. That is the belief, and it is real, and it shapes everything. Now here is the part I am not going to soften for you, because I do not work for her side. The belief is expensive. It is the exact mechanism that becomes the phone check, the location, the 10 missed calls, the interrogation about a coworker. Both things are true at the same time. She means it as devotion, and it can become a cage, and your job is to know which one is in the room with you. The waitress smiles at you. She goes quiet. You explain that the waitress was being friendly, that it is her job, that you barely noticed, and that is the worst available move, because you just proved you were paying enough attention to have a defense prepared. What she wanted was not an explanation. What she wanted was for the waitress to have been invisible. Do not defend. Do not perform reassurance, which she can hear from across the room. Just remove the ambiguity before it forms. Say who, say where, say when, before you are asked. And if the celos become the phone and the location and the accounting of your hours, that is not culture anymore. That is a problem, and you are allowed to say so out loud. Her jealousy is a love letter, written in a language where love and fear use the same word. Which brings you to the night it finally breaks open. The first real fight, louder and faster than you expected, over almost nothing, and it is not about what it is about. You think it is about the topic, so you get precise. You bring evidence. You win the argument on points, or you do the healthy thing, the thing your therapist would applaud. You say, let's talk about this when we are both calm, and you take space. Orgullo, pride, which here is a virtue, and is also the thing that has ended more relationships than infidelity ever has. But the fight is not really about pride, and it is not about the topic. It is a test of whether you stay in the room, and you need to understand the arithmetic underneath it. In a staggering number of these houses, a man walked out, not metaphorically. He put his keys in his pocket and he did not come back, and everyone learned what that looks like in the 2 seconds before it happens. Taking space has no local translation. It translates as the opening move of the event she has been braced for since she was 9. It escalates over the tone of one sentence. You stay reasonable, which enrages her, which confirms for you that reason is needed. You say the mature thing. You pick up your keys, because you are being an adult, and in the 4 steps it takes you to reach that door, you confirm the entire thesis she formed about men before she was old enough to spell it. Stay in the room. Lower your volume instead of raising it. You are allowed to be silent. You are allowed to be wrong. You are allowed to be completely useless. You are not allowed to be absent. You think you are de-escalating. She thinks you are leaving. Only one of you is right, and it is not you. And if you stay in the room, eventually she gives you the thing she has never handed anyone who left it. One night she tells you the real story, the father, the man before you, the year she came apart. You assume you are hearing it because she is finished with it, or you hear it as a red flag and start counting, or, and this is what 9 out of 10 of you do, you start fixing. Despechada, the wounded state after heartbreak, which here is not a symptom. It is a recognized season with its own music, entire genres of it. You can walk into a bar in Medellin on a Tuesday and hear 4 hours of men and women singing about it at full volume, and nobody in that room is embarrassed. Underneath it, in a lot of us, sits hambre de cariño, a hunger for affection, from houses where the love was real and completely genuine, and rationed too thin across too many people. She is not telling you this so you will understand her. She is telling you to watch what the information does to your face. 2 a.m, she is talking about the man before you, and it is uglier than you were expecting. And you start solving, he should have, you should have, next time you will, that is not going to happen with me. She goes quiet. She agrees with you. She changes the subject, and she is warm about it. That door does not open again, and you will not find out that it closed for another 2 years. Do not fix it. Do not compare it to your own divorce. Do not flinch, and do not ask for the details you want but do not need. Receive it, and let it be heavy, because it is. She is not showing you the wound so that you will heal it. She is showing you the wound to see whether you look away. And once she has shown you that, she will show you the other thing, the one you have been warned about since before you got on the plane. She tells you what her family actually needs. 2 ways you fail here. You panic, and you hear the exact scam every forum promised you was coming. Or you overcorrect, and you start paying, quickly, generously, to prove you are not the kind of man who panics. Obligation runs outward here, permanently, in one direction. She sends money to her mother. She will send money to her mother when she is 70 years old and her mother is 90. That is not a red flag. That is Tuesday. The woman who does not do it is the strange one, and her family talks about her. Now, I am not going to lie to you, because your forums are not entirely wrong and my friends are not all saints. The predation is real, and it runs in both directions. There are men who come here to buy, and women who are here to sell, and they find each other with no difficulty whatsoever. So here is the only distinction I have ever seen hold up. Disclosure has no ask attached to it. She tells you her mother needs a procedure, and then she changes the subject, and she does not look at you while she changes it. The transaction leads with it. The transaction has a number in it. The transaction has urgency, and a deadline, and a reason the deadline is not her fault. Dinner. She mentions the surgery. There is a quote from a clinic in Envigado sitting in her phone, and she does not open the phone. She talks about something else for the rest of the night, and never comes back to it, not once, not even at the door. You get home and realize she never asked you for anything, and that is precisely why you want to give it. Learn the difference between being told and being asked. Do not solve her family's finances in year 1, no matter how good it would feel. And if money is the main thing you bring, understand what has happened. You have not been chosen. You have been priced. The woman who needs your money will tell you. The woman who wants your money will tell you a story. And if you pass that one, and most men do not, in one direction or the other, you arrive at the stage that actually decides your life. She gives you everything, not gradually, at once. You read the intensity as instability, or you read it as a victory, and you start coasting, because in your experience this is the part where the work ends. Entrega, total surrender, and it does not come in percentages. There is no 60% version, no trial period, no way to sample it. She held everything back for months, and it was not strategy. She was protecting this, because she has exactly one of these, and she has watched what happens to women who hand it to the wrong man. And when it comes, it arrives as grammar. Nosotros, we, about your money, about your plans, about your mother's health, about a future that used to be yours alone. And here is what nobody on your forums will tell you, because they are too busy being angry at her. Every destroyed foreign man you have ever read about was destroyed at this exact stage. Not because she was cruel, because she handed him the entrega, and he only ever wanted the first 10 stages, and there is no polite way to hand it back. You notice the pronoun changed. She says nosotros, about a decision you were certain was yours. Your stomach drops half an inch and you do not know why, and you tell yourself it is nothing. It is not nothing. That is the sound of finding out what this actually costs, and you are hearing it 2 stages too late. Decide before this arrives whether you want the weight of it. You cannot accept it graciously in July and return it in October. The moment for honesty is before the entrega, not after. After, honesty is just damage with good manners. She is not going to give you a piece of herself. That option does not exist. Know that before you ask. And once she gives it, you find out that she was never the only one in the room. You stop being her boyfriend. You become a member. You think this relationship is between 2 people, because where you come from, that is what a relationship is. 2 adults, a private agreement, a door you can close. You become a son. You become a tío, an uncle, to children who did not vote on it. You become the man who drives the grandmother to her appointment in Bello on a Thursday, and you will do it, and you will not be thanked, because family is not thanked. The health of your relationship is now measured by people you did not choose and cannot fire. Sunday is not optional. You lose the American right to say that is between us, because nothing is between you. And if it ends, you do not lose 1 person. You lose 14, including a 9-year-old who thought you were permanent, and nobody will ever explain it to him properly. Her nephew calls you tío without thinking about it. Mid-sentence, reaching past you for the bread. Her mother texts you directly, about her own cough. Not about her daughter, about her cough. You are in a WhatsApp group with 31 people, and you understand perhaps half of what happens in it. Nobody announced any of this. You were absorbed somewhere around March, and nobody thought it was worth mentioning. Understand that you are not choosing a woman. You are applying to a system. Do not begin this unless you want the system, because the system is not a side effect of loving her. It is the thing itself. You did not fall in love with a woman. You fell in love with a woman and inherited a country. Now look back across all 12 of them and notice that it was one question the entire time. Ask 12 different ways. Not do you love her, not are you a good man. The question was always, when this costs you something, are you still here? The group that made you buy 5 dinners, the months of one-sided effort, the fight you wanted to walk out of, the Sunday you did not want to attend. Every single stage is the same test, wearing different clothes. Because you came here to answer a different question than the one you were being graded on. Where you are from, dating optimizes for compatibility. Do we match? Is this easy? Is this working? Are our needs being met? Here it optimizes for durability. Will you stay when it is not easy and not working and nobody's needs are being met? Those are not the same question. They are barely related. You spent a year proving you were a good match to a woman who was checking whether you were a man who stays. And the gap between you was never what you were told it was. You arrived believing the difference was temperature, that she is warmer, more feminine, more passionate, whatever the forum sold you at 2 a.m. The difference is not temperature. It is the unit. You think the unit is 2 people. Here, the unit is a family. and you have been filling out an application this entire time without knowing it. Every single thing you have been calling a red flag is the application. And none of this tells you who she is. It tells you which room you are standing in. She can still be a liar. She can still be the most honest person you have ever met. She can be the woman who rebuilds your life or the one who takes it apart with both hands. And the culture will not tell you which one is sitting across from you. It only tells you what the doors look like and what order they open in. Read the woman, not the flag. The bedroom was never the intimate part. The intimate part was the Sunday you did not want to go to, and went to anyway. You can always tell the men who finally understand this, because they get quieter. They stop keeping score. They stop reading every silence as a verdict on themselves. They stop asking, "Does she like me?" and start asking, "Do I want all of this?" The mother, the nephew, the Thursday in Bello, the 31 people in the group chat, the weight of the entrega, and the fact that it cannot be returned. And the strange thing, the thing none of them see coming, is that it makes them enormously more attractive. Not because they learned a technique, because for the first time since they got off the plane, they are not auditioning. A man who has decided is a completely different animal from a man who is hoping, and every woman in this country can tell the difference from across a room. Creating these videos takes real time alongside my full-time work, so if you are getting value from this, please support the channel by subscribing. It tells the algorithm to show this to more men who need it. See you in the next video.